Why is a calculus book always unhappy? Because it always has lots of problems. In this unit, we will cover 6.2, Differential Calculus. The first key term, and one of the most important, is the tangent to a curve. The tangent to a curve is a line that intersects a curve once locally and is always on the same side of the curve. The next key term is the derivative of a function. The derivative of a function is the instantaneous rate of change or the gradient of the tangent line. The next key term is the chain rule. The chain rule states if y equals g of u, where u equals f of x, then the derivative of y in terms of x equals the derivative of y in terms of x multiplied by the derivative of u in terms of x. The equation on the right is the same in the equation. The next key term is the product rule. The product rule states if y equals uv, then the derivative of y in terms of x equals u multiplied by the derivative of v in terms of x plus v multiplied by the derivative of u in terms of x. The equation on the right is the same equation. The last key term is the quotient rule. The quotient rule states if y equals u divided by v, then the derivative of y in terms of x equals v multiplied by the derivative of u in terms of x minus u multiplied by the derivative of v in terms of x, all over v squared. The equation on the right is the same equation. The first example states, find the derivative of y equals sine of 3x squared. To find the derivative, we must use the chain rule. In the chain rule, we must find the derivative of the inside function and outside function. The inside function is 3x squared, and the derivative of it is 6x. The outside function is sine of 3x squared, and the derivative of it is cosine of 3x squared. Then we take the derivative of the outside function and multiply it by the derivative of the inside function. The derivative of y equals sine of 3x squared is 6x cosine of 3x squared. The next part of the first question states, find the rate of change when x equals 3 and x equals 1/3. The next part of the first question states, find the rate of change when x equals 3 and when x equals the square root of 1/3. To find this, we plug the x points into the equation for the derivative. When we plug x equals 0 in, we get y equals 0. When we plug in x equals the square root of 1/3, we get y is approximately 1.87. The second example states, differentiate y equals x to the third times 4x squared minus 2 to the fourth, and factorize your answer. To find the derivative, we must use the chain and product rule. We must use the chain rule first, using it to find the derivative of 4x squared minus 2 to the fourth. Using the chain rule, we find that the derivative of 4x squared minus 2 to the fourth is 32x times 4x squared minus 2 to the third. Knowing that, we then use a product rule to find the derivative of the whole function. When we multiply u times the derivative of v and add that to v multiplied by the derivative of u, we get the derivative of f equals x squared times 4x squared minus 2 to the third times 32x to the second plus 3 times 4x squared minus 2. The first of your homework states, find the derivative of y equals x over the square root of 4x plus 2, and give your answer in the form ax plus c over the square root of x plus d to the power of b. The next homework problem states, find the derivative of y equals x to the fourth minus 3x squared minus 4. Then, find the rate of change at x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. The first homework problem, we must use the quotient and chain rule. We must use the chain rule first to find the derivative of the denominator. We multiply the derivative of the outside function by the inside function to get 2 times 4x plus 2 to the negative 1/2. Then we use that derivative in the quotient rule, where g of x is 4x plus 2 to the power of 1/2. The derivative of g of x is 2 times 4x plus 2 to the negative 1/2. U of x is 4x plus 2. The derivative of u is 4. When we plug these in the quotient rule, we get the derivative of y in terms of x equals 4x plus 2 to the 1/2 times 1 minus x times 2 times 4x plus 2 to the negative 1/2, all over 4x plus 2 to the 1/2 squared. In order to get it down to the needed form, we have to multiply the top fraction by 1 over the bottom function. The answer to the first question is 2x plus 2 divided by the square root of 4x plus 2 cubed. The second homework problem, we don't need to use a quotient, product, or chain rule. First, we find the derivative of x to the power of 4 minus 3x squared plus 4. The answer to the first part of the question is 4x to the third minus 6x. The next part of the question, we have to plug in 3 and negative 1 for x in the derivative. When we do this, we find that the derivative of f at x equals 3 equals 90, and at x equals negative 1 equals 2. I hope that helped you better understand topic 6.2, Differential Calculus. And I will end with another joke. What's the derivative of Amazon? Leave your guesses in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.